The borrower is slave to the lender. And in the modern world, people think that's just, having a credit card. And you are a slave to the credit card company for 10, 15, 20, 25% interest on the couple hundred, couple $1,000 that you borrowed. The 2, 3, 4% interest on your mortgage on your house. The 8, 9, 10% interest on your car note. The interest on your student loan. It's not just the interest that makes borrowing money an immoral act. The borrowing of the money itself is an immoral act. In modern terms, if you can't pay for it with cash that you earned or cash that you've acquired through legal means, the same legal means that Fortune 500 companies acquire their cash and capital and a bailout situation, then you are committing an immoral act. But there's also spiritual debt and deficit. If you have forms of ailment, your lover has forms of ailment, and you procreate and have a child, your child takes on those sins and your child takes on that immorality and physical and mental and emotional deficit, and you put the child in debt, in a generational ignorance, a generational poverty, a generational ill health, you are also committing an immoral act by allowing your child to be born at a deficit. Giving your child a rough start in life is a form of sin. The world doesn't necessarily need you to have a child. We have enough people on earth to do what needs to get done. There's enough cash on earth for you to earn in order to pay for things in cash, including the rearing of a child. And shame on the predatory lenders. Shame on the predatory bankers. For taking advantage of people's vain, selfish weakness when it comes to what we call in the West the American dream, family, luxury, all things which are just false ideals and not reality. Do you need to have a child? Do you need to have a big house? Do you need to have a brand new car? Does the world need you to have a college degree? Do we care if you have a child? Do we care if you have a college degree? No. Especially if you borrow money or steal money or on welfare programs in order to have those things. You are committing an immoral act if you do so, because you are a slave. And in the modern world, purposely being a slave is committing an immoral act. And the predatory bankers know this. Credit lenders know this. And there are a lot of people who are in that business that are from the Jewish tradition, the Hebrew tradition, and it goes back thousands and thousands of years. Interest on money manipulation. And they wonder why they get persecuted. And it's because they're committing immoral acts. And I'm not justifying their persecution, but the manipulation, the deceit, the conniving, the sniveling, the groveling are immoral acts. You reap what you sow. And sometimes an entire people reap what they sow. Free thought starts with freedom. And you're not free if you're in debt. You're not free if you commit immoral acts. You're not free if you give a child a rough start in life. You're not free if you put what they call in the East karma, karmic debt on your lineage. The former president of the United States, George W. Bush, murdered 1 million Muslim people in the Middle East. Literally for no reason. Putting karmic debt on the backs of our military and on his family. The Jewish people, the elite of the Jewish people, most likely allowed, to use a weak word, the Nazi Holocaust to occur, to entice the Allied powers, the Americans, to save them and abolish the Holocaust, and guilt trip the American people, the American military, to bring about the state of Israel for a religious reason. So all the Jews of the world would go back to Israel and the Messiah would appear. And they could finally lay claim to the land of Israel. The land of milk and honey, as they say. That is an immoral act. Those are immoral acts. They put people at a deficit. They put countries at a deficit. Innocent people. Innocent community members. Innocent children. And that karmic debt has to be paid. Whether you like it or not, justice does what justice does. You can't force it or suppress it. Justice has a mind of its own. And justice is just, and it balances out and does, well, justice. And to be naive enough to say, well, my racial pride or my country's pride, the flag, my skin color, my heritage, my religion, is immune to karmic debt, is again committing an immoral act, because that's ignorance. You reap what you sow in this world. Whether you're a race of people, whether you're a country, whether you're a military man or a mailman. A poor black single mother on welfare with 7 kids from 6 different fathers. Or a rich banker who partakes in predatory lending. You reap what you sow. And not everything is as it seems. In fact, most things aren't as they seem.